Put it away.
Ring, ring, ring.
It's me, Guccio.
No.
Gianni.
Good morning, simps, virgins, and peasants.
Oh my fucking god.
And welcome back to Krown's magical Help Your Dead Cave.
Mike says, we are not peasants. That's right, man. We're not fucking peasants. But you know what?
Yes, you are.
Hey, what the fuck was that? I actually just got asked by some sort of a Bybit representative to do their, I don't know, they have some sort of an event called the World Series of Trade. Very lofty name right there. And you know what I said? I'll do it, but I'm naming my team the Peasants. And there's no fucking ands, ifs, or buts about it, baby. Anyways, welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a nice little Wednesday. It's actually not very nice this morning. It's fucking shitty outside, to be quite frank with you. But I do have a nice big cup of caffeine, and I got a really good night of sleep last night, so I'm feeling good about that. And we got some fun things to be speaking about on Bitcoin as well, as Bitcoin plays out the eternal range, doing the same goddamn trade now for like what seems the 10th time in a row. And funnily enough, I need to show this off over here as once again the funding rates, like this is just getting freaky. This is just fucking bizarre. Like I really haven't seen some this strange in a while now. Our show, you know, I've once again gotten the move. So yesterday we posted, I think it was like an hour late perhaps, after the initial rally got started, but it was still well below $30,000, certainly on that. But we did show that on the Twitter account, the funny rates were negative 0.021%, which was actually the biggest negative funny rate readings that we've seen in quite some time. If we actually go over to the daily over here, that is comparable to what we saw in the last few major dump bolas over the past few months here. And now, coming off of these last 31,000 and a half dollar highs, I think they were. Let me just double check actually over here. How did we get up there? 31.6 actually, not bad. On a wick basis at least. We're showing positive rates, and what does Bitcoin do? It comes well back down below $30,000, and we get to play right in the middle of the range right now. So it's certainly a lot of the same on the higher term time frames right here, but there is some fun stuff to be looking at on the lower term time frames, and actually quite a fair bit of setups as well there too. So let me just double check. Okay, that is, yes, I want to make sure that is actually settled over there. Okay, we're good. I'm getting emails of all sorts of kinds as well, and here we fucking go. All right, so I see that there's already 717 people watching right now. Good morning to everyone out there in cryptocurrency land. 165 likes on the video. Massive thank you for that, as that is very generous, especially when things are rather slow. Definitely felt it myself, but hey, man, these are the times to be kind of, investing in other skills. Even though, I actually have had a decent amount of trades this week, I would say. Like, it hasn't been zero, even despite the, somewhat lack of actual movement, but still, opportunity is abound, and it looks like my camera is massively laggy, which is very bizarre. As fucking always, I changed my... is the stream itself laggy, or is it just my camera? Because I can just delete that and then bring it back. Let me just double check over here what it looks like. Okay, we'll bring it back as well. There we go. And let's... Oh, whoopsies. Okay, so the voice works. Yeah, everything else works. Okay, I see. So I think it's just that. Yeah, I actually have to use my CPU to process the stream today. So I think it's just actually fucking weird, man. This camera is really pissing me the fuck off. So I probably need to update some sort of drivers or something and make that better. Anyways, we can deal with that. You don't need to see my ugly fucking mug. We just need to be able to see the charts right here. And today is probably gonna be quite it's probably going to be quite fast, just like yesterday, actually. Although I certainly do want to look at some alts, because I want to see if there's any signs of strength over there, because that can sometimes help the overall analysis. But higher term timeframes, it's more of the same shit, right? More of the same shit, which means lower highs and just waiting on those next lower lows. Anyways, update the PP drivers. It will work. There we go. All right. I can see you fine. Awesome, man. Today was fun, says Namcom. Yeah, man. There is opportunities certainly abound. And range traders have been making absolutely bankola recently as well, as have fib traders, in fact, as well, as it looks like Bitcoin did hit our fib target from yesterday. Not that necessarily gave it a target, but just areas of interest realistically on a bounce. And Bitcoin's hit that, and now back down to the middle of the fucking range, man. Jesus Christ. What's up, Matador MC? Good morning to you, man. I think that we got a few moderators in here. Nikki Page, Bear Nutrition. Good morning to yous. Elizabeth J, David Sonari as well. We got G Mad, Diamond Sauce. Nice name. Shumara. Shumara. Definitely psychedelically infused over there. Charles Fox. Good morning to you as well. Fib My Nachi. Fib My Nachi. Also not to be confused with Fib Nazis, actually. For Sam Frignozzi, good morning to you as well. Mr. Z's, there he is. Lev Ashen, Migto Biologic, and Lewis Wen Moon. Yeah, man, the moon has been banned, actually. We haven't even been able to play the moon song in quite some time now, so what does that mean? And where's the fuck? Oh, man, I guess I don't really... Hold on, I need to... Did I leave any open running trades here? I hope I did not. Let me just double check on this. Yeah, you can pin it. I mean, it's not going to be a huge deal. I suspect today is going to be rather slow and rather quiet, actually. And what's up, Nimbo? Good morning to Mr. Nimbo. Pin it again. There it is. I see it. Okay, yes, we are safe, or at least I am safe. So, yeah, no surprise trades that happened. I actually released an Instagram story about this like a week ago, which happened actually 2 weeks ago, where basically I've been working on this live trading account for a sort of like quant project that I'll probably release sometime this summer. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to show all of the live trades for all of the strategies that I go over in there from start to finish. And so I had an account specifically for that purpose, just to, to be able to show it with real money. And I woke up one day on the weekend and I'm like, where's that? How's that account doing? Might have another trade opportunity over here. And I wake up and it's like a fourth of my account's actually gone on that one. It's not like a main account or anything like that, but still doesn't feel good to lose money, obviously. And so I'm like, shit. Looks like I might have left myself with a surprise trade. So, that is the detriment of having multiple accounts. Unfortunately, okay, why is this popping up over there? Okay, yep, we don't need that. Don't care. Okay, beautiful. Eric gonna rug Elsa. You're getting rugged, baby. You're getting fucking rugged. You have a great day as well, Mr. Chinggis. Yeah, I mean, it happens. I make absolutely dumb, boneheaded decisions like that, or mistakes like that, I should say, that I should certainly be above at this point, but I'm not. And it happens. So at the end of the day, it's all about implementing more and more systems, of which have to check in on all my accounts before bed. Typically, though, if you're wondering, why this is even like a thing, I actually always have like some sort of a ritual, basically, where I check before bed my main account, just to make sure there's no like resting orders, no trades that I'm in or anything like that, because I personally hate going to sleep within an open position. Every once in a while I'll do it if it makes sense, but it's certainly not optimal, as I don't know, man, it just gets in the way of my sleep. I just can't stop thinking about it, and that's just me. So if I can't stop thinking about it and there's something I can do about it, well, the best thing I can do about it is just to not fucking do it. So yeah, 12,000 Bitcoin still on the table. I mean, everything is on the table, right? It's just time frames, probabilities, and time frames and probabilities. Realistically, I think 12,000 is still pretty. It's pretty fucking far away. I think what's most likely, or at least what I'd certainly give a chance towards, is of course at least like a low 20,000 or upper teens bottom still. I think that the market's starting to get like extremely bearish right here, and that can definitely happen, of course, but I wouldn't really be looking for like the nuke town to occur until we get like some actual massive downs on traditional markets, which I think it's putting in a bear market rally right here. The question is, how fucking high does it go, right? I'm talking about traditional markets, not Bitcoin. Or Bitcoin tried its bear market rally, pretty fucking anemic thus far, to be fair. So just looking at it on my other screen, actually, and we'll definitely get to that today as well. It does look like we could very easily see another move on NASDAQ or SPY. But, again, the question to me is just how high do we get? Because how high these markets get before the next downturn is going to essentially judge my next downside targets. But, I still think low 20s is somewhat reasonable. The question is kind of when. So I'm still thinking, probably maybe later this summer, probably more like Q4 2022. But I've never been good with timing. I think anyone who's been on this channel for a while now, it's like a meme where I'll say, I'm looking for this move to happen in the next couple of weeks, and it happens in like the next couple of days. It's pretty fucking ridiculous. So that's why I go off of levels and not off of time, which I just don't think can really be done, actually. Actually, speaking of Instagram, I did a little Q&A yesterday as well, which was pretty damn fun. And I'll be doing a lot more of those as well. So if you are interested, if you happen to give a fuck, there is a link in the description below for my personal Instagram any other Instagram account that might be contacting you with a similar name is not me, however. And also, I'll never DM you to begin with, because like there's just too many things to do in the day. I do respond to my DMs every once in a while, but I'll never initiate, of course. So be aware that, of course, if something sounds too good to be true, if someone's giving you like, hey, I'll trade your account and I'll give you like I think I saw someone say that they were saying that they could get them 250% ROI in a week. Probably too good to be true, or at least I certainly can't do that. That's not fucking me, man. I can't do that. I can't even do that for myself. 250% in a week. Holy shit. Maybe if I'm starting with like a baby account, but certainly not my main accounts. That would be absolutely ridiculous. And it doesn't need to be that much as well. But you have to remember that, if they're going with absurd numbers like that, who are they targeting? Lowest common denominator, unfortunately. But that is actually the game, from what I understand. I either watched a documentary or read a paper on this sort of thing, but basically these scammers actually intend to sound as ridiculous as possible, so that they only get the dumbest of the dumb people, or the most desperate people, because those are the people who are most likely to go into a scam like that. And apologies if that does come off as offensive, but that quite literally was said, not from me, but from these authorities. Anyways,
There's a fake Eric Krown channel as well.
no, that is not fake. Eric Krown Crypto Clips is actually made by our good man here, Mr. Bear Nutrition. So that is 100% legitimate. And actually I suggest that you check it out as well, because he's been putting together little clips, of very digestible, just interesting things, hopefully interesting things at least. So yeah, definitely check that out, because, if you're not necessarily, if you're just looking for like a little quick hit of hopefully value here and there, that is the purpose of that channel. But no, that is a part of our family. I don't manage it personally, but of course, that is 100% okay. It's just Eric Krown Crypto Clips. It's spelled exactly how you would guess from my main channel, which you're on right now. All right, cool. The peasants are getting robbed. Whoopsies. Asked me, he was posting clips from 20. Yeah, man. There's no time frame on that. It's completely fine to post clips from whenever, really, because at this point, like, I have maybe close to 5,000 videos. I don't know. It's got to be like way the fuck up there. So at least hopefully one or two things over the years has been good. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna work on this coffee over here. Like I said, today's analysis gonna be on the shorter side, just like yesterday. And then we can get into some comments, and we'll see how long the stream goes, but no real major thing on that. Oh, what's up, Mr. Derek M? I'm a mere peasant. No, you're the OG of OGs. Krown, can you do 20 pull-ups? Yeah, if I started off as like the first thing I do, yes, but not I like the end of the workout. Do Kwon said he was going to give us our money back. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Yeah, exactly. It is really, really interesting to just watch from afar that whole situation with Luna. It's like the man made what seems to me to be like a legitimate Ponzi scheme, like a legitimate pyramid scheme, and it collapses, it gets revealed, and everyone knows the story, and then he creates Luna number 2, and people go right back into, it's just like, all right, fair enough. This is why we have regulations, I guess. Shame on Luna. Yeah, I pull up my coffee at least 20 times. There you go. Were you interested in the XRP SEC hearing earlier? Absolutely fucking not. I do not give zero cares about such information. Sorry, man. It's it's just, I'm not interested in XRP. I don't think that it has like a major implication with crypto markets in general. If you're looking for something to care about that's not Bitcoin, that can influence Bitcoin, that is obviously the the monetary situation, and that is just most easily represented by the major bourses of the U.S. market, which is NASDAQ, SPY, and to a lesser extent, Indus as well. They're buying a coin from a guy that is on the run from the government for having a kill switch for a crypto that lost people millions of dollars. Is that, I don't know if like all of that's, is the government really after him? I don't know. Like, what he did, would that be considered criminal in his country? Because obviously he's not American. I believe if you're American, then yeah, that's pretty fucked, man. Pretty fucked. But at the end of the day, I'm not like, I haven't really done my full research into that whole episode. So maybe I don't say more than what I'm comfortable saying, because who knows what sort of conspiracy theories are surrounding that sort of thing. Do Kwon was out to steal, sad thing is. But do we know that like for sure? Because that is kind of an aggressive assumption. Maybe he just thought that what he was doing was going to be good, but he just didn't realize that it was a bad idea. I mean, that could be reasonable, maybe. But he is not concerned with making enemies. I mean, you kind of should be. What I thought was really interesting, though, was this post on Twitter that was brought up yesterday. I don't know if I can find it again. In fact, I definitely can't find it again. But basically, it was a post that was saying that they found some sort of a hack, kind of, for lack of a better term, into Telegram, and this person was able to spy on basically any Telegram group that he wanted. And so he's been spying on like all of the high profile crypto influencers and projects and this and that, right? And he was saying that he's going to release the fucking what's it called, Armageddon, as far as that information goes. I think within like a week from now, somewhere maybe the 15th, if that sounds right. Kind of interesting to see something like that. It's like I want to believe, just for pure entertainment, right? But at the same time, it's like, okay, if you do have that information, why not release it now? Like, why not release it now? I don't get it. And then I also saw that there were some people who were saying that might be bullshit as well. So I guess maybe we'll get some bear market entertainment soon enough. But there were some pretty crazy things that he was talking about in there, like assassinations, orgies, fucking private jets, actual scams, people who probably are thought like, the way that he worded it was that there are people, especially on Twitter, with like humongous accounts that are extremely well respected that no one would believe if they've actually done this stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, who would that be? I guess I'm not active enough on Twitter to really know, but it's a little bit of juicy gossip for us nerds in cryptocurrency land. Then again, it's like I can't judge my girlfriend for watching the Kardashians when it's like I'm waiting on this. It's fucking stupid, man. I do think there are eyes checking stuff out for sure, looking to create leverage if possible. That I'm not sure I understand that as a sentence. Carl the Moons says Lewis. Maybe. I mean, he does have a million followers on Twitter, so he's quite big there. I'm gonna be exposed. Yeah, man. The thing is that I actually don't really have an active Telegram. So if they had Discord, then they'd definitely get me. But no, I don't. I don't actually really operate on Telegram, except for one guy that I talk with. But we just talk about all sorts of bullshit, actually. But yeah. Anyways, let's see. Peasant Inu. There you go. The scam was people who had their life savings in a crypto project. I mean, again, though, but you have to like imply intent. Like that's the whole problem with that sort of a thing. Like at least where I kind of think it's like, okay, I don't feel comfortable just calling someone like a full-on scammer on the internets without like legitimate proof that that's what they intended to do. So, maybe if this guy, if he actually is legit on Telegram or about the Telegram thing, and he could show that XYZ, maybe Do Kwon or whatever, was like intentionally doing that to scam people, yeah, okay, that is very obviously a crime. That is very obviously like despicable. No fucking doubt about that. But it could just as easily been like he just, he thought he had a good idea and it just wasn't a fucking good idea, possible like that. Humans aren't real, says Ryan Zach Music. Interesting. And no one trusts any founder in crypto. I mean, that's, but do you trust Satoshi? That's what I like about Bitcoin is like, you don't really have to trust like a founder. You're not like reliant on, a founder potentially going to jail or something like that too. Anyways, I'm saying people don't have accountability blaming Do Kwon. Well, to be fair, I think that there's actually a lot of legitimacy to that simply because, people could have looked into the tokenomics and the way that it was set up to begin with. It's not like that changed. It's not like that was, hidden behind a wall. And so, if you didn't do that, then, I mean, like, who's really to blame? Like, yeah, you can blame him for making it in the first place, but you did take the action. And technically speaking, in investing, fucking gambling, really. it's your responsibility to do the due diligence. I believe in the eyes of the law. I think that's the way that it goes. Tokwon would get properly depegged in jail. Yeah. All right, I'm almost done over here, and then this is probably gonna be a pretty damn quick analysis. Get some ELSO coin, some ELSO. The murder and pedophile. That also seems really strange to me. Simply Gains, another OG of the cave, but it's like, okay, you're talking about people who were coordinating murders. I think he said there was three of them, and then also like pedophilia as well. And he said like specifically as low as 8 years old, which is like fucking gross, man, to even think about. Like, why would you wait a week? Like, seriously, release this now, because there's policemen. And why would you tell these people that what they're doing? Because then they can just start to like cover up things and make alibis maybe. That just seems like just a why, like a big why would be my question. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, no. If someone robs you, you don't wait a week to go to the police. You do it now. You do it fucking now. That would be at least what I would think. Yeah, Simply Gains is old school. We got the old school people in here, and it's just like back in 2018 now. Blackmail, paid, maybe. I mean, maybe. But I guess it didn't really seem like that was a part of it. 3, 2, 1 stream ban, says Dux. Alrighty, goodbye, sir. It's been nice knowing you. Totally some QBS. Yeah, it could be. I think it might be in alignment with that. Because it did seem like, at least from a couple of people that I know who typically know like their stuff, it typically looks like they know their stuff, at least from what I can gather, because I'm not like an expert in cybersecurity and shit like that. They did say it's probably pretty unlikely. It's pretty unlikely. But then again, like, who can really say for sure? He said there was a person killed for their crypto and their entire thing was set up on Telegram. Think about it. Why would anyone set it up on Telegram? Well, the reason why they set it up on Telegram is because Telegram is technically, or at least what we're told is, I think, is that it's private. I think that people probably know that it's, I think that most people probably know that it's not. But yeah. Q is Doe, is Satoshi, is Richard Hard. Jesus Christ. Hex is the only crypto I trust. I mean, again, it's right there in front of you. Someone posted like a fucking phenomenally funny thing the other day about Hex, where it's like, it was like a picture of Richard Hart twerking, which is just great in all of his like glory, right? Which is fucking great content, man. It's really, really great content. And then they said, he's doing this with all of the money that you gave him while you lock up your money in Hex for the next 15 years. And it's like, oh my fucking God, man. Like, are people actually doing, they're literally locking their money for 15 years. That is insane. I wouldn't lock my money in anything, but maybe that's just me. Okay, here we go for Bitcoin. I wanted to start this one off with a bit of a recap of yesterday. We were looking for a bit of a bounce-ola over here on the CME chart. The old LARP lines look like they did play out, and we were looking at some interesting, some areas of interest, if you will, based off of the fibs over here, of which it looks like we hit all the way to the back end of these guys on a higher term time frame closing base. Let me just double check. Sorry, let me get rid of the one that is not relevant right now. Yeah, on the daily right there, about 31,200 or 31,300 on that closing basis. So yet again, another lower high, and the range of eternal greatness continues to trudge onwards and forwards. So what does it essentially mean? It essentially means that nothing on the higher term timeframes has actually changed right here, but with Bitcoin, putting in what actually does look to be maybe another lower high forming right here, that'd be somewhat concerning. But here's the thing, because Bitcoin has actually done this move, we can move down the resolution point for an upside reversal with upside targets into the mid $30,000 territory, basically with any sort of a closure above, I think this was basically yesterday's high. Yesterday, or, just this area right here, which is about 31.6, 31.7, anywhere under the blue box territory, probably going to be good. Again, targets would be about $33,500, right around here on this blue box at the one spot 272. And then we got the big old gapola from CME on May 6th and 9th, coming in at the one spot 618 Fibonacci extension, which is also going to be the 0.5 on the not the macro, but the last major daily trending move over here. We do see that as well, and also going to be in alignment with that daily BBWP expansive move, which does suggest about a 20% move upon resolution. To the downside though, I do think that that's just going to be theoretically more likely for a few reasons that we're going to go over here in a second, which one is going to be trend, as we do obviously have a downtrend going on right here. We have 1, 2, 3 lower highs still in the short-term timeframes. And then also we do see a couple of interesting things. So the first and foremost thing is going to be the funny rates over here on the Krown trading application. This has just been hilariously accurate in getting the day's direction for, it seems like maybe 2 or 3 months since we started posting this regularly on Twitter. Yesterday, we saw very negative rates, and that was in alignment with a short-term bounce. In fact, these were some of the most negative rates that we've seen in like the last 2 months, at negative 0.021%. And right now, coming off of that last 31,000 and change high, we do see positive rates going on over here. So we can almost just throw these damn charts away and just go off of that in recent times, which is kind of funny. But at the end of the day, we still do need the charts just kind of judge where the areas of interest after that move kind of plays out. So in this case, we see that yet again. Anyways, I do want to call out a few things as well. So while the short-term time frame funny rates are positive here, which does suggest that downside likely, and we kind of we've kind of already played out at least a decent amount of portion of that move from 31.5 all the way down to below 30,000 bucks on specifically CME. Can we see more? Can we see some more from this? Well, definitely. The daily is setting up for a particularly massive move here, as we do see daily BBWP again get liftoff. I do have my reservations that this will actually be the move right here. We might get something like this where it comes back down, bases again, and then we get the real move. Sometimes we do get something like that, but until we actually do see the BBWP itself get below the moving average, I suppose that you could roll with this being the move, if you will. So here's the thing: as far as momentum oscillators go, what is most likely? Well, we did not see Bitcoin on CME close above the daily stochastic momentum pivot. That was about 31,300, I believe, coming into today. And we actually see the same pivoted level once again for today. So as long as Bitcoin is below 31,250 on a daily closing basis, again, momentum is actually going to be turning down freshly here, rejecting the bullish control zone, of course. And that alongside volatility expansion, would obviously suggest downside and maybe even a downside I wouldn't say macro, but daily resolution. And then also we do see on the daily RSI, we did not confirm the hidden bearish divergence that needed to close below the prior daily low, which was 29.8 and change, I believe. And but we're still going to have the same sort of setup right here for today as well. So it's not like it's gone away just yet, but it will be confirmed. Especially with another daily closure below about 30,000 bucks. I'd even say a closure below about 30,200 probably going to be good enough, at least for myself, over here on CME. And then yes, we'd have not just a slew of lower highs, but also, of course, hidden bearish divergence, plus daily stochastic momentum also is turning down, plus very, 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 very low BBWP, which does suggest that the move does have some legs on it. But still, in order to confirm the actual breakdown, which is going to have some pretty nasty targets to the downside, pretty much around our current lows and probably even lower than that, actually, over time as well. I'm thinking maybe like 22 to 23,000 bucks. The same criteria needs to be hit over here for downside continuation, and that would be with at minimum a medium-term time frame closing below the bottom end of this blue box, which is 28,900. Preferably, this would be a higher term time frame, seen as we are going to be looking at a rather large move, if you will, and a daily certainly anywhere below this region would certainly do it for me. Again, looking at moves back down to $26,500, I'd be looking for maybe a slight bounce there on the medium-term time frames, and then we got $25,000. And personally speaking, I do think that Bitcoin would probably drop a little bit lower than that before it puts in a nice major daily bounce, as Bitcoin actually looks like it is going to hold the median of the range for the short term right now. So with all of that in mind, if we do go into the short term, is there anything specifically obvious right here? Not really, at least not for me. In this case, I'd still just be looking at the overall range, and seeing as Bitcoin's literally, quite literally right in the middle of that range, I look at this as having absolutely no edge for myself and my actual trading strategies. So take that as you will. Again, it's the same game as far as the daily goes. And then our momentum also to start to shift around the picture, saying that, hey, this is a little more likely right here, but we haven't seen the actual resolution just yet. So I think that's a good place to kind of leave off on this video. Again, a very, 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 very short video on this one, as there really hasn't been too much on the higher term timeframes that's actually changed. Just on the short term timeframes, we see this one once again spit out that move, and we see the funny rates, put some decently positive rates on over here. But I would say that, if you were playing the funny rates, you kind of missed by now the majority of that move, obviously. So with all of that in mind, I'll take a second to shill my Instagram. I've been a lot more active there, especially during these more slow times in the market. We did a Q&A yesterday, which is pretty damn fun. In fact, there's so much participation, which was really cool, and really there's actually really a lot of really, really good questions that I wasn't able to get to even half the comments, which is unfortunate, but we'll definitely do it again. And then we got the old Bybit chill link as well, which I don't need to get into because anyone who's even trading right now, you're probably actually already on exchange. So it's all good, man. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to leave this one off. And yeah, we'll be back on tomorrow. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, sweet. Yeah. All right. So let me see what the comments are looking like over here. Oh, and hold on. I think I might have something I actually want to get into over here. Here we go. Okay, there we go. I see what's actually slowing. Why? Man, my computer's actually struggling with... Must be having an exchange open as well, because these things just seem to really eat up CPU. Weird, man. Super, super weird. Anyways, okay, cool. Let me see what else has got lined up for me over here, and we'll just see how far we go with the super chats, and then see where the day takes us. And this will actually be very interesting for me today, specifically because I want to see our alts showing a different picture than Bitcoin, for example. As Bitcoin, yeah, it does hold the middle of the range right there. So looks like we might get another try to the upside. And do we get an upside resolution? That's the real question, of course. Alrighty, let me just plot this in over here. I would like to close. Sir, please let me close. There we go. All right, and let's see. Okay, so Capiti goes first. He's looking at near on the 4-hour and daily. Let's see what we got for this one. This one's been one of the more weaker ones as of recently, especially. And it continues to be one of the more weak ones as well here. Yeah, pretty ugly again. So, when I see something like this that is obviously relatively weak, it's, I always want to make a correlation to Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin plays out a downside move, this thing's going to play out, pound for pound, a greater downside move, and vice versa for the upside. It won't play out as good of an upside move. So in this case, you got another drive of hidden bearish divergence that is, pretty much, that pretty much is all but confirmed for myself over here. I would like to see it come back down below yesterday's low, which is 505, in order to get that continuation to your prior range lows, which is 480 or so. You have extremely low BBWP over here as well, but I'm not convinced that that's ready for expansion just yet. Daily jewels to the downside as well. So, much more things pointed to the downside than the upside right now on those time frames. But where does it change on a 4-hour time frame? Or is that relevant for a 4-hour time frame? Hey, nice. All right, hey, there we go. Okay, beautiful. But on the 4-hour time frame right here, I would call a short-term reversal, not relevant for the daily. Not relevant for the daily. If you can trade back above, okay, we got too many damn lines. Okay, maybe I need to just delete Bybit for right now. All right, let's see if that works. It really seems like my shit's slowing down. Yeah, okay, my CPU usage is going decently down now. Okay, so that's better. All right, cool. Let me get back on over here. Yeah, but basically, if you can trade back above and specifically close back above your highs from, I'm guessing, yesterday at 538.5, then I would be looking for it to put in another short-term rally first before anything else, before any sort of potential devastating move to the downside, with targets probably more around, well, at least your high from 6th of June, but probably more likely at around 595 or so. 5-day, just out of curiosity, are we putting in a low or not here? And again, it looks pretty damn weak. Long term, do I think that the lows are in? No. The question is, again, are we going to get a bear market rally, and how high does it go? I wouldn't really even call any sort of major daily bear market rally until you're back above those pivots. At that point, I think best case scenario it does is 750 or so. Pretty ugly chart right there, man. Kleinman Jongen says, thoughts on potential Cardano breakout? Not an expert at TA, but I'm hearing if we close above 68 cents, it's good news for Cardurpio. Let's see. Let's see if we got some hopium over here. This one was actually one of the stronger ones. So you're looking at 68 cents. Yeah, it's basically your high from right here, obviously. I'd say so. In fact, I'll record a video on this one because that would likely be a nice big old move. Anyways, here we have Cardurpio symbol ADA versus the dollar. Again, long term, it's been absolutely shredded to the downside, and it's getting its first sort of relief bounce. It does look like on the higher macro time frames off of the 200 simple on the weekly. So, again, the question is similar to Bitcoin. It's like, are we going to put in a greater bear market rally or not? Well, in this case, we're pretty much at the same area that we highlighted, I believe, on Monday. Yeah, it's right there. for a nice, a nice upside move, which would be any sort of a daily closure, specifically above about 68, 69 cents. If you can see something like that, then yes, I would be looking for this one to put in a much more extended bear market rally, specifically somewhere around about 90 cents, maybe even as much as $1. But long term, again, make no mistake about it, this chart is heavily macro bearish. I think best case scenario for Cardano would be putting in a move towards like $1.10 if like everything goes perfect to plan for the blue laws right here. But ultimately, looking at the 4 hour, yeah, I think that this one has at least a short-term time frame chance to make another move, another test towards 69 cents. Can we actually see a closure above there? Well, if you do, yeah, I'd be extending those targets. If you don't, then obviously more of the same. With probably a retest back down to your current 50-cent lows or so in the next week if that does happen. But even on a 4 hour, I would actually say you do have a nice breakout with a 4 hour closure, not above 68, but above 70 cents. So if you are going to use a lower term time frame, just be aware of that. I imagine your stochastic momentum is probably looking... Well, let's see. Daily is still up, actually moving it nice and well into the bullish control zone. So 57 cents going to be the magical number to hold. So yeah, I do think that this one has a legitimate chance to the upside right here. Again, long term though, I do think it's just a bear market rally. But bear market rallies can be, can be decent here. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Cardano. Nice one. Sean Waller says, good morning, sir. Good morning, man. When optimizing a strategy, should the strategy work in all market conditions? No. It doesn't need to. Like this is a preference question, man. You should not care about my opinion on this, or should you have different strategies for different market conditions? That's what I personally do. So, I want to have different strategies for when I'm looking to like scalp a rip to the upside. Like I just want to kind of sell into it and just play at a short-term move. I have strategies for when I want to do the opposite for a downside move. I have strategies for when I want to do trend trading. All of these just give me another sort of edge on a strategy to be using that over time gives me just more iterations to trade with rather than just waiting for one strategy. But it's a personal it's a preference question. So my answer might shouldn't be relevant to you. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, as the old Hodgkins would say. But yeah, when things are trending, I want to be playing more trending strategies. When things are ranging, I want to be playing more scalping and range strategies. Absolutely. So no, one strategy should not be able to do everything. It's like when you try to do too much, you do nothing at all, right? No strategy that I'm aware of can literally be perfect in all market conditions. Just personal opinion. Anyways, let's see. Jor Broder says, good morning, Krown. What's up, man? Do you sometimes trade more intuitive? No. Or do you always stick to exact parameters as 100% absolutely? There's zero reason at all whatsoever to ever trade intuitive. This is bullshit that I think people say because this is just bullshit that people say to make them feel better about just bullshit, really. Look, if you're not backtesting your strategies, if you're not putting in the bare fucking minimum to work out if it's even worthwhile to begin with, like I cannot logically understand this. I can't logically understand this. Finances are at risk. Potentially major finances are at risk. It would be the same thing as going to Vegas and being like, man, I'm feeling this, it's going to be red this time. It's going to be fucking red. I've been seeing a lot of interesting conversations recently in the Discord, which I haven't really commented on because, well, people are free to do whatever they want. And if they don't want my opinion, or if they want my opinion, they'll ask me, right? But basically it comes down to, like, for example, to be something like this, like, I don't need to back test fibs, for example, because they just work. It's like, yeah, they work, but how do you know where you're going to fucking take your profit? It's like, yeah, you probably have an edge there, but do you take profit at, 1% down, 0.5% down, 0.25% down? That's the purpose of fucking backtesting, is to figure out, where you actually have an edge on that, because it's not just always going to work out all the time. No shit, right? So absolutely fucking not, man. And again, it is kind of a preference thing, because you can say, you could say some things back at me right there, but at the same time, man, I just do not understand the mentality where people will throw caution to the wind instead of just backtesting something, which again, like, finances are at risk. I just do not fucking understand it. So yeah, man. There I go on a little bit of a rant. Apologies for that. All right, cool. Let me scroll back on over here. Sam Fragosi is looking at UK oil. Okay. UK oil. I don't think I've ever looked at this one. I've looked at U.S. oil. I do not like oil in general though. Hour and 15 minute caught entry at 1975. Closed half hour ready to run highs. Okay, we're not looking at the same thing because this is trading for 121. Oh, maybe maybe you meant like 119.75. Maybe you meant like 119.75 over here somewhere. Maybe that's what you meant. Let me go to the hourly. I mean, I do think it's got a nice short-term upside move here, back up to your range highs, like 121.75, maybe all the way up to almost 122. Let's see what the long-term looks like. Up, yeah. I mean, bullish all around basically, but where do things start to change around here? As always, there needs to be some sort of an invalidation that'd be below about 120.5. So until then, I do think you might have one more short-term move down towards like 120.60, but ultimately I think you got continuation on this one, most likely to your range highs right here. And then the question is, do you actually break out of that or not? If you do, then this one can roll all the way towards a $1.23. Very constructive rally over here. Only problems below on the short-term timeframes, 120.5 on a closing basis. Just this last higher low right here, which is literally 51. Oh wait, you meant global prime. Maybe that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Brent crude. The fuck, man? Just give me the damn ticker. Global prime. Let me try this. Let me see if this number makes more sense too. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything obvious here, so I'm gonna hold off on that. I think we probably got the right one. Hopefully. Let me see. I see that you commented. That's my okay. So that was the right one. Okay, cool, nice. Yeah, you literally bought the fucking higher low. Perfect. I mean, like perfect. Just perfect. Amazing. Okay, sweet. On Hell says, hey Krown, just curious, if timing isn't your thing, how do you trade options so well? Because the way that I look at it is I look at it in terms of covering my position. So when I'm thinking in terms of options, there is a time component, yes, which is correlated to the time frame that I'm actually trading. But that's not to say like I expect this move to happen over here. And one thing that I never fucking do, okay, I don't never do this. There are times to do this, certainly, but I don't like doing it. And I would say it accounts for certainly less than 80%, probably even less than 10% of any options trades that I make. But I'm not buying options. So when you're buying options, you're working against time decay. That's what I don't want to be working against. I don't fucking like that. I never want to be like basically short theta. I don't fucking like that. So yeah. Anyways, you're looking at SNDL. Is this what I think it is, or is this a crypto? No, it's not anything that I know actually. Okay. But yeah, in terms of options, like I'm just looking to cover like my spot or futures position. So what I'll do is I'll basically use that to manage risk or to kind of take profit in a bastardized way. So what I'll do is, for example, I'll do like a covered call if I want to take profit on a long underlying position, basically. And I'll be like, I'll just, maybe I'll do it on a daily, like if I want to take profit faster, or maybe leave it for a weekly if I took the initial trade on a higher term time frame. Obviously, it's going to be dependent upon the time frame that the trade was based off of. Okay, daily and weekly, please. Man, I guess you just tricked me with 2 ones right there, but whatever. It's a slow day. Anyways, daily and weekly just filled a gap at range lows. I mean, it might bounce here, but it's fucking ugly, man. Like this is a chart that's only ever gone down. Here's a real chart, only ever gone down. Yeah, it filled a gap. You might get a pity bounce. I might argue that you've already seen that pity bounce over here in May. The direction is down, man. The direction is down. And if you do get another pity bounce, again, best case scenario, maybe somewhere around like 47 cents. But, if you're on a weekly, you're probably, yeah, if you're on a week, I mean, you might get another pity bounce here. That is a fair question. But long-term, the direction's down. I mean, this is just garbage, absolute fucking garbage. Monthly is down. Again, I think best case scenario is like upper 40s. And even then, I'd probably just be looking for it to top on over again. So it's like, if you're looking to play the gap fill, you should have played it over here in May. That's personal opinion. Okay. Yes, I see last hours of eternity says, hey, Chainlink on a 1 in 4. Okay. I wonder what this one's looking like nowadays. Probably not great. Oh my God, it's in single digits. But having a nice move right here. This is interesting, in fact, because we do see two alts, Link and Cardano now, that are putting in decent rallies, and This one probably at least has another try to the upside, somewhere around $9. I was curious what the daily looks like. I do think it's going to give another try towards $9, maybe even above like $9 towards $9.40 or so. But ultimately, well, no, I don't have anything to say other than that. I do think you got one more try to the upside here, basically. There would be an invalidation on that. Obviously, that would be below about $8. I know that's not too helpful, especially on a lower term time frame like an hourly, because it's so far away right now. But that's, I mean, like, obviously, I can't go back in time to address that. 4 hour technically has bearish divergence going on right now, but I wouldn't even look at that as concerning until you actually come back down and close below 8.15 on a 4 hour. Same thing on an hourly. Yeah. I would actually move down the area of failure, or sorry, move up the area of failure to about 8.19 rather than what I said before, which was more like $8 even. But generally speaking, I think that you probably put in a move towards your range highs here on the daily. Long term, again, like, you know, the question to me is how high are these bear market rallies getting? Like even the monthlies, yeah, man, it's sad to see on some like Link 2. It was so good for so long. Now not so much. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have strong opinions on this one. If Bitcoin gets another upside move, this one should, well, actually, no, it's not really trading with it in the short term here. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't necessarily know what to make out of that, but if I had to call it, I think you got one more test towards the top side of your range. And then if you get rejected at like, let's say 940, that's going to be quite devastating. Obviously, if you do start to close above about 940, at that point, I'd be looking for your bear market rally to really get extended here. Okay, really get extended at least towards like $10, a little bit over $10, if that would happen. Cool. All right. Zen Bull Trading says, NASDAQ, how high, sir? Daily if possible. Okay, so the question is, if continuation, how high? In this case, where's your daily range highs? Basically, right around just right around $13,000. If you start to close above there, I would be looking for your rally to take you into the mid 13s, actually. So a rather big move. Problem is the weekly. I mean, again, it's like, how high are we going to get on this bear market rally? If we get into the mid 13s, that's great. Might even extend towards 14. That would be completely fine as well. But long term, you know, I still think the direction is down here. You know, if I'm looking at the monthly, there is something to be. Yeah, actually on the monthly, it does suggest that we probably do see a greater bounce, as we will naturally have hidden bullish divergence come off this low right here. So that probably leads you into a nice bear market rally. And actually that would that'd probably be looking somewhere around a little bit above $14,000, I do think. So yeah, I actually do think that this one does extend the overall bounce. 5-day has some regular bullish divergence. So technical target on that would be in your mid 13s. Theoretically, I want to see the daily actually close above your range highs here before looking for that move. And obviously there needs to be an invalidation as well, which would obviously be below your last little breakout, which is about 12,350, I think. Sorry, 12,250 in this case. Obviously far away right now, but you know, that's, again, can't go back in time for something like this. 4 hour lower term timeframes. Not really getting too much from this. I guess short-term caution below your low from yesterday, but other than that, I do think that you generally try another upside move here, maybe like a bi-weekly. I'm looking for something that's like super obvious, and I don't really see it. But again, I'm really just looking at most of these as bear market rallies. You know, keep in mind the higher term timeframes like a quarterly here, which is actually closing at the end of this month. You know, we have our first drive ever actually on futures of bearish divergence there, in like some of the highest zones that we've ever seen ever. You know, I really do think that this one will come down again and try to base at least somewhere just below $11,000, and longer term, if things really get crazy, maybe somewhere more around like 10,000. But yeah, I mean that's a hell of a chart right there. That's a hell of a chart. Maybe a 6 month actually is what would be interesting to look at here. Meant to do that over this weekend's video. Yeah, short term bouncy, long term, you know, probably does have another leg down. Short term on like a 6 month, right? So that takes us around end of year maybe. Cool. Because of interest says, I want all your fur crown, please, Gala, all time, like every single one. That's gonna take a while, man. Yeah. I have all kinds of time frames over here. Okay, this one doesn't even have basically a year. Again, definitely on the weaker side. Short term, nothing to be excited about as long as you're below yesterday's high, which was like 9 cents. Anywhere above yesterday's high, however, I would look for this one to put in a nice rally at minimum somewhere around like 10 cents. But again, very fucking ugly long term. This one, it might get a bear market rally from here. I think best case scenario to the upside would be like 17 to 20 cents. Long term, I do not think that the lows are in. Long term, I think this one is going to move lower, and probably much lower at that. Lower term time frames, I'm not getting anything super interesting from this. If anything, it's a bit of a weak follower here. But if you can trade back above yesterday's high, I'd be looking for this one to join a little bit in the or share in the strength of a little bit of the broader market. Other than that, though, I mean, really, really ugly long term. Really fucking ugly long term. Monthly is just god awful. I mean, again, if you've been around 2017, 2018, you know what this is likely going to look like long term. It's, you might get a bounce here, you might get a bounce here, but it's going to do something like this, maybe even for eternity, depending upon if the project is actually legit or not. No, he's not chilling. He just doesn't, he's not chilling now. Ben0613 says XCAD. Okay. Fib targets. I mean, there might not be fib targets, man. Okay, this one was one of the stronger ones. I remember this one from Monday now. We're at the range highs, so this one's already at the range highs, so it's a little bit on the relatively strong side of the equation here. Still, though, in order to see the next leg of this rally, this one might not be a bear market rally, though, because it actually does look like this might be a macro low here. In order to really confirm that, I need to see a daily closure. I think we said the same thing on Monday, but above about 495. At that point, probably looking at moves towards, just under $6, like $5.90 to $6. And I might even go as far to say that I would even just say that the lows are kind of blindly in there, which is interesting because this one's massively different than other charts. Weekly, again, pretty decent compared to most other charts. Bitcoin rally right now, really, really good sign here. So let's see, 4-hour time frame. Might be a short-term pullback down to 4.25, maybe $4, but I don't really have any issues with this chart. Long term, as long as you're above about 375. Yeah, just trying to see again if there's something like super obvious. Yeah, again, I think generally speaking, some bear market rallies here would look really, 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 really good, and this one would probably be one of the stronger ones. BK says APUSD, 4-hour daily weekly. Okay, man. I remember this one absolutely shat the bed last we looked at it. So, yep, and it's still shitting in the bed. It's still shitting in the bed, man. Again, ugly as fuck, man. And this one's like relatively weak in a weak market. If the rest of the market bounces and even puts in a nice bear market rally, I think this one, like best case scenario, puts in a move towards its daily range highs, which would be like $9. And even that's kind of a stretch right here. Obviously closing below that 5.25 low, and this one's going to very likely at some point retest like the opening that you ever saw here, which was about $1. 4-hour time frame, you'll see a short-term reversal with a move and especially a closure above 6.25 with targets back up towards 5.5 to at least 5.5, hopefully. But again, this thing's so weak, I wouldn't feel comfortable like saying much more than that. Weekly, again, just ugly, very, very ugly. Best case scenario on anything, in my opinion, to the upside would be like 8.25, maybe. I think this one's incredibly weak. Or sorry, 8.5 to 9 would be best case scenario, in my opinion. Long term, this would be a good candidate for. Well, I won't complete that sentence, but I do think that this look. Highly unlikely this one's seen the low. Highly fucking unlikely. The question is, how high do you get on this next rally, if you even rally at all? Let's see. Mr. Don't Ask 007 says, how does time zone influence daily closing price? It doesn't. It's all pinned towards zero. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm not laughing at you. This is a question that I once had when I first started as well. Okay. So the time right now in Helsinki is 9:05 a.m. The time in London, I'm guessing, is like 2 hours behind us, or maybe an hour behind us. So it's like 7:05 a.m. So when the daily closes, it closes at not the same time, like the actual nominal time, but it closes at the same time of day for all time zones, which is pinned to, again, 0 UTC. So whenever your time zone is equivalent to 0 UTC, that is when your daily closes. Mr. Venegas says, hello once again. Hello, my old friend. What's up, man? Touch up on waves 1 and 4. Okay, let's see what this one's doing. I remember last time we looked at it, it was putting in a nice rally. Let's see if it actually held that. And it's literally right on the area where it starts to call, or I mean, it's not right on the area. It's a little bit above the area where it starts to call a failure here. But the 4 hour, if we're looking at that, yeah, I do think it's putting in at least a short-term rally here. Probably back somewhere right around like 862 to maybe as much as 890 short-term. But, you know, as long as it holds the range lows, okay. Hourly's suggesting down first, but let's see. Let's go back to the 4 hour right here. I'm inclined to say the 4 hour probably does take precedence on this one and tries a little bit of a short-term rally here, but this will be all invalidated and completely irrelevant if you do see even an hourly closure below like 733. Yeah, 733, and at that point, I think it's going to cough up this rally. Daily, just out of curiosity. Yeah, again, long term, like this is not a strong signature. Right? If I was looking at the daily, you know, you might get one more attempt to the upside to the top side of this range, but ultimately, probably going to cough this one up at some point. You're going to have major drives of hidden bearish divergence available to you for quite some time here. So whether it gets continuation or here or not, I think it's kind of irrelevant. I don't think that this is it. But if you're just on the hourly, if you're just on the hour, I mean, it actually does suggest downside back down to like 769. If you're on a 4 hour, you know, it can take that move, but just don't want to see a 4 hour closure below like 780. Yeah, below like 775 to 780. That's where I start to look at this one as front runnable for a daily top being confirmed and hidden bearish divergence, and then, you know, moves back down towards those $6 lows or so. Ben0613 says he also asked about a FIB. I understand that you asked about a FIB extension, man, but there's no FIB extensions to do here. There's nothing to do here. I mean, I can put one on for you just to show, but like this is not good analysis in my opinion, because it's not something I'd do anyways. But okay, we'll do a FIB extension, basically getting the same areas of interest that I was looking at before. About 575 to 580 if you do break out of your current daily range highs, which is about $4.95 to $5. And if you do extend from there, again, closing above that region, probably looking at 685-ish. And then above there, you'd probably want to take a macro one. So I just don't think it's like super relevant just yet. Until then, you can just, you know, it should naturally line up with the ranges. You don't necessarily, you know, just pick one basically. But yeah, you know, if you just want it to be more mathematically based, there you go. B Nanoman says UNL long term. Okay, not familiar with this one. Is this a crypto or a stonk? Okay, it's got to be a crypto. Is it this? The 12-month natural gas fund. Okay, long term. So I'm gonna go to like monthly, quarterly. Very fucking bullish. Very fucking bullish. Let's see. Wow. Powerful, man. Powerful. Long term, you know, probably looking somewhere around here before at least. It's a stock. Yeah, it is a stock. Okay, I got it. Let's go to a quarterly because this is. Yeah, I think you're generally going to move towards the shallow 30s, somewhere between like 30.70 and 32 and a quarter, something like that, and then probably pull back from there. If you do overshoot, then probably looking somewhere around 35, but I wouldn't be looking for like a like a higher term time frame pullback until you get somewhere within this area right here. Until then, you know, pullbacks on short term time frames are probably just gonna be higher lows. Daily's like breaking out again. It looks like pretty fucking powerful. Obviously, this one's going to be driven by the fundamentals around the world. This is why I don't like trading oil in gas names, because a lot of games can be played with those. So just, again, personal opinion there. Cool. Let's see. I think that was actually the last one of the day. So I'll stick around for a little bit more, just reading some comments over here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's not that many people hanging out right now. You know, things are rather slow, so all good. Are you at all worried about Sweden and Finland joining NATO and pissing Russia off since you're in Helsinki? I mean, look, like, oil racist. What's up, Mr. Plums? What's up? Good morning to you, Mr. Plums, a good friend. Am I worried about it? I'd be more worried if they didn't join NATO, man. Like, look what happened to fucking Ukraine. It's like, it's ridiculous. This is like a really weird thing that people seem to there seems to be like a type of person that just loves a nice strong man like Putin, and they like really fall into the things that he says and believes, which is really interesting. I'm not saying that you're one of these people. It's just I notice this frequently. And I don't know, it's just kind of strange, right? It's like, no. You have to understand, like, when dealing with a person like that, their power is in intimidation. Their power is in intimidation. Obviously, if Ukraine was in NATO, I think the picture would be much, much different, because otherwise, you'd see Russia maybe invading like Poland, for example, which is in NATO, or Estonia, or Latvia, and all these countries. But hey, I'm not a fucking military expert. I'm not a political expert. So, if you're just asking my opinion, am I worried? No, it's okay. I'd be more worried if they didn't join NATO. That's what I'd say about that. It's so fucking interesting to me to see like a lot of the people in the West, make apologies for someone like Putin. It's like, don't piss him off. It's like, dude, do you have any idea who this fucking guy is? Like, for real? Do you have any fucking idea who this guy is? Holy shit. Oh my God, man. Some people love their master. Can we look at the beef chart? What is I actually don't know the thingy. I don't know the ticker there. Hard times create strong men. Yep, I think that is ancient knowledge, man. Did you do Sol? I haven't done Sol, but we can just quickly look at it. Maybe even worth recording. Let's see. I don't know. Looks like another short-term local high to me. But that's a 15-minute. Okay, that's not relevant. Oh God, again, just really, 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 really bad long-term. But again, do we get a bear market rally or not? Well, this would start to be forming a low and actually confirm a pretty powerful daily local low if you do start to trade back above your highs from 6th of June. At that point, extremely likely to move like a rather quick one to 48 and change, but maybe even a little bit higher than that, probably more around like 49, give or take. But again, long term, just looking for bear market rallies here, whether it's 59 or 67 or maybe even like best case scenario like a 90. I think it's just going to be that another bear market rally before probably another move to the downside. But this one's been beat up a lot to the downside. If it does want to bounce, it can bounce rather aggressively. Again, though, I do think best case scenario is like 90s, something like that. I'd like to do Ethereum as well. Crypto Wendy eats beef. Also, Elsa munches feet. Says Gains Lord. Very interesting comment there, sir. Is there not a confirmed Bitcoin 12-hour bearish divergence? Hard to have regular bearish divergence in a downtrend. You can only have hidden bearish divergence in a downtrend, but we can see Solana has it, but that's already played out, or at least the ease move that's already played out, because you look for a move to your range lows, which we've already gotten. Bitcoin, is there? No, there is not, because one, we do not have higher highs, and two, the RSI is not making higher highs for what you're actually be looking for, which would be hidden bearish divergence. So no. Daily will have it potentially, but only if you do close and confirm a local high here, which would, it'd be a lot more obvious below like $30,000. I'd even go as far to say like 30,250. Krown, can you ballpark when you think the stock bear market will end? I have no idea, man. If I had to guess, you're going to see rallies along the way, but maybe puts in a lows like Q4 of this year, Q1 of next year, maybe. But I'm certainly not a statement that I'd live or die by, or certainly trade off of as well. You have to understand for myself, I'm much more lower term time frame focused, 5 minute, 15 minute. That's kind of where I want to be living for the most part, and maybe an hourly, depending upon the conditions. Corey C says, please, sir, please what? Please what, man? I'm happy to hear you out. I just don't know what you're saying. You talk a lot slower nowadays. Might be the lack of caffeine, but especially like, okay. We need the pride chart, says Philson. To be fair, that is good hopium for a short-term bounce. Absolutely. Yeah. Can you do Rune Perp on the hourly? I think they got delisted from somewhere. I saw that yesterday. Rune Perp. Yeah, I think they got delisted. And I'm pretty sure they got delisted from FTX actually. So this would be interesting. But it's moving, so maybe it was a different ticker or something like that. Again, weak as fuck. Weak as fuck, man. This is, if the rest of the market moves up, this one will move up as well, but not that much. And I wouldn't call this one even putting in a low until you're back above at minimum the 6th of June high, which is 329.35. I know you asked about an hourly, but at that point I would be looking for a nice move towards about 380. Anyways, on an hourly specifically, I mean, this is a bearish setup right here. I wouldn't be calling any short-term reversals until you're at minimum back closing above 302. Above 302, yeah, I do think that you could put in a nice move towards 311. This is shorter term to 315. But if I had to look at the short-term time frames, like a 50-minute in this case, I mean, I think you're coming back down to your low of the day, like 282, something like that. It's weak in a weak market, so if Bitcoin goes down, this one will go down more pound for pound. If Bitcoin goes up, it won't go up as much, most likely. I think Bitcoin dominance is mostly going to be soaking up a lot of these altcoins. Krown, do you invest in regular stocks or only crypto? No stocks, and I would barely even call myself a crypto investor. Mr. Venegas, he's back. Can we look at VET on the 4 and daily? Sure. Simple VET. Let's see. Looks like the exact same chart as before, right? Again, a very, very weak one long term. You know, I would not be willing to call anything resembling a decent low here until you're back above your 6th of June high. At that point, probably does put in a nice rally, at least, or, you know, probably somewhere around like 4 cents, 3.9 to 4 cents or so. But again, long term, it's like, are the lows in? Very unlikely. I think best case scenario is, like, let's say best case scenario happens here. Bitcoin rallies to like 35 or 38,000 bucks. I think best case scenario, you see this thing somewhere around like 5.5 to 6 cents. 4-hour time frame, like, I'm not getting too much from this, but I would call a short-term local low with a 4-hour above 315. At that point, you know, you do have some bullish divergence come off of here, but that was off of this low, and you kind of already played out a short-term move, and, you know, somewhat weak already. So I'd feel a lot more confident looking for I'd look for like some significant downside if you do see an hourly below about 295 basically. At that point, you know, could we actually call a full on meltdown? No, but at least a move, probably somewhere down like 2.8, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a pretty big move on a low dollar number. And what do you have over here? Daily hidden bearish evidence forming, just like Bitcoin. So really don't want to see this one close below the low of the 6th of June, which is 301. If you do that, then yeah, I'm looking for a move back down to your daily range lows. That'd be that 28 number. Not great. Will Chaplin, thanks for that, man. But feel free to have a message as well. I'm looking at the comments right now, so I'll just wait. I'll just stick around for a bit. What's up, Gordon? Yeah, man, awesome. That's super cool, man. Actually, I'm a little bit English myself, I guess, because my dad was born in London. Does anyone ever ask to check the 1 minute chart? Every once in a while. Oh, Mr. Burglecunt, what's up, man? Have you ever used SMC strats? I'm not familiar with the term. No. It might be that I have, but I'm not familiar with that specific acronym. So I'd have to have more color on what you're saying. We already looked at waves, man. Bearish divergence on Bitcoin dominance. Depends what time frame you're looking at. But long term, over the next few months, I expect this one to go up significantly. Short term, if you're on a daily, yeah, probably does come down a little bit here. Probably does come down a little bit. Yeah, I would agree. You're also at your range highs. Yeah, I'd say probably does come down short term. Long term, sometime around end of year, I expect that to be much higher. Still waiting on Mr. Chaplin. We could look at Netflix just out of curiosity, see what Mr. Musk is up to. Let's see. Wow, looks like a crypto. Looks pretty bad, man. Looks pretty bad. What does a monthly look like? You know, again, I generally think you're in a bouncy area here on the monthly, so that can take a long time to play out. But, well, you don't really get too many chances to buy the monthly 200 simple. So, if you are super long term, not the worst place. Krown, I want to buy your program, but I don't know how to trade yet. Then probably don't buy it. We do have a really beginner-friendly program that is made for people who have like no experience, called the Neophyte program. But what I really suggest, man, is I wouldn't suggest any program. I'd suggest checking out the free content on YouTube. I have a playlist specifically for that purpose that is freely available on the YouTube channel. It's called TA 101. And then if you become a member of this channel, like the little join button there on YouTube, I do have a little bit more of an in-depth TA 101 there for the people who happen to have that. But really basic stuff. I'm seeing ladies with amber hair on the telly. Witches. Netflix and chill. Yeah. Feel free to tap the like if you like as well, says Bear Nutrition. Love it. Wow. Did you make a mistake on UNFI 6,000%? I don't think I've ever spoken about this thing. I don't think that's a real move, man. But yeah, you know, if you want to, like, it looks to me like a pump and dump. What matters is where you actually settle, and I think this one is coming right back down to where it came from. So I'd have to I mean, technically speaking, yeah, I guess I'd be wrong, but let's see how much this one trades. Okay, so it's a $10 number. It has traded in that day 37 million times. Very fucking low liquidity, extremely low liquidity, and getting sold into immediately. So yeah, long term, dare I say, I'll probably, my price on ups will probably be right on that one. John H, welcome to the cave as well, sir. Did you watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yeah, we got through like half of the first episode, and then I got too tired, so I had to go to bed, man. Wasn't great. Sorry, the episode itself was good. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it, but yeah. Anyways, I got a couple over here, and then I'll look at some of the other ones. Okay, GMX. Okay, daily, weekly. There's not a daily or weekly on this one. It's only been around hasn't been around for too long. Okay, we got more of a chart here on Coinbase. Bad, again, fucking bad. Unless you're looking for that last guy's chart where you just get like a hopium pump out of nowhere. Long term, the direction's down, man. There's nothing to be excited about on a chart like this, especially as long as you're below like 170. Weekly, there's not going to be a weekly on a chart like this. Too fucking new. The direction's down, man. I would even be surprised to see another pump up towards like $1.30. But yeah, nothing good about this chart, especially as long as you're below, not even that number, but like 180, 185. So any pump is just another lower high before very likely going lower. I don't think that the lows are in on this one, basically, and I have no idea where it will bottom either, based off of the extreme lack of history there. I don't know why it pumped, but last one, BLZ. Okay, looks like we got a couple of shit coins doing some pumps out of nowhere, perhaps, but let's see how high this one got. Definitely not as much as the other one. I mean, this would be a phenomenal place for another lower high. But you're on an hourly and a 4 hour. So 4 hour time frame, I do think has another try to the upside, probably back up somewhere around 16.75 to 17 cents. Hourly, same thing. I think you got one more try short term. But let's see. Yeah, and that's actually right around the daily 200 simple. So you kind of expect your bear market rallies to typically be stifled around a region like this, somewhere right around there. Now, if you start to close above this region, then perhaps it is a reversal. So short term, yeah, do you think you're going to test maybe somewhere reasonably close around there? Start to close above there, then I'd probably be looking for these highs to be retested again, about 23 cents to 24.5 cents. Yeah, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say probably not it. Yeah, it's one of these charts. Probably not it. Cool. Let's see. Ian Gazzard says AVAX, please. 4 and daily. Okay. AVAX. Okay. On Binance. Again, like, are we looking for a greater bear market rally or not? If we are, if you're on a weekly, which, you're not, but 42 and then mid 50s would be like best case scenario in my opinion. Daily, ugly again, but if the rest of the market rallies, this one will as well. It's just relatively weak right now. 4 hour time frame. You will confirm a short-term local low with targets back up towards that $27.5 to $28 high right here, with any sort of a 4 hour closure, especially above 25.69. I'd even say above like 25 and 35. At that point, probably looking at a rally somewhere back here. Yeah, about basically 28 to 28.5. Long term though, I mean, this is even long term, but on a daily, it's like. This isn't even that relevant for a daily. What's relevant for a daily is this area right here. This is your daily range highs, so quite far away from that right now. Again, just kind of a game of range resolutions here, but can start off with the short-term timeframes. But ultimately, again, if Bitcoin falls down, if Bitcoin coughs up this rally attempt, this thing very likely will find some new lows. Long-term, do I think that the lows are in? Like macro lows are in? I think you might have one more drop-off. But, when I look at the higher-term timeframes, like, on most of these things on the higher term time frames, it really wouldn't be asking too much to get a nice bear market rally. And this thing could actually kind of bulldoze its way too. Best case scenario in my opinion is like $50. Per living, or actually I should come up with a downside continuation condition as well, and that would be with a daily closure below 22 and a quarter, and you can kiss any short-term bear market rallies goodbye and get ready for the next move to probably below 20, somewhere around 17 to 18 I think it was. Per living says Tesla day, week, long term. Okay, so daily, weekly, maybe monthly as well would be good for you. Daily does look like it might be putting in a bit of a higher low right there. Will be fully confirmed and actually have a nice short-term reversal above 789. At that point, I'm looking for this one to pop back up close to $900. Weekly, same thing. You'd have a nice little weekly local low here with targets up, and it's raining hard as fuck now. Monthly, do I think that the lows are in? Probably not. Probably not. I do think that this one eventually will come down closer to 550 or so. Yeah. So again, it's the same question as most of the cryptos we've seen today. It's like, are we going to see a greater bear market rally or not? If you do, I would say that would be validated with a move back above your 2nd of June high here. Especially on a closing basis, that would look pretty damn good for a nice bear market rally first and then come down later. And I would validate I'd validate a continuation of new lows below like 660 maybe, but not that helpful in that case because I don't feel as confident on it. What I feel a lot more confident on is the long term here. Quarterly, I think very likely coming down to 550 to 500-ish, something like that.
Can you tell Will to type the message because he said, did I get it? And I
Hey, Will, instead of just doing the, hey, did you get the message? Can you just repost the message? It'll be a lot easier for us to address because I think must have gotten lost somewhere. Sam Fragosi has a cool question. How did your style of trading come into play on Arca since the strategies you were employing were vastly different? So the strategies that I was using from basically when I was an options trader, they're not as relevant now because I don't really trade options. So not really, to be quite frank with you. The one thing that is consistent that I'd use for options trading and in the way that I trade right now as well is I'd still look at moving averages. I'd still look at volatility indicators, but what was actually most relevant was just looking at trend, but yeah, the way that I trade now is obviously has to be much different. Alrighty, Bitcoin, you gonna cough this one up or what? Are you doing it? Well, wouldn't really call that just yet. Yeah, just waiting on Willist. Burb Cunt says, yo, Krown, how do you feel about FTMO and other firms? So I don't have any direct experience with using these firms. So I can't say. When I traded it professionally, I traded with my mentor's account to start off. So I wasn't like a part of a firm like that. But I can relate some experiences to you from other people. Other people have given me some good feedback from that. And then also Top Step is one worth looking into. You're in the Discord, obviously. We know each other. But Sacred, if you're familiar with him in the Discord, he, I believe, is with Top Step, or maybe it's Alex Switch. One of them two guys is, and from what I understand, it's good. It's fine. But I can't speak from experience there. So yeah. And in fact, Bear Nutrition will actually probably know as well. Yeah, and good on you for doing the research, man, because I have heard some pretty bad stories with some lesser known firms. Hey, what's up, Yasek? Good morning to you, man. Yeah, we'll actually look at Ethereum, but I'm still waiting for Willist, man. Willist. Yeah, Sacred is with Top. Okay, got it. Thanks for chiming on in, Mr. Alex. Okay, Ethereum 2-week chart on. Oh, I thought it was Willist, not Will Chaplin, but all right. Yeah. Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, Willist. That's funny. Okay, Ethereum. Yeah, we'll definitely look at this one. This would be a good one to kind of wrap up with as well, because I'm starting to get hungry. 2-week chart. 2-week chart? Why? I mean, I don't really have much to say about the 2-week chart, to be honest with you, man. The week that I wouldn't already say on the weekly, but we can definitely record this. Okay, I think I also have. I mean, this is on Binance, but Oh, this is Bybit. Okay, yeah, actually, I would like the Binance chart there. Okay, let's do it then. All right, here we have Ethereum versus the dollar, and we're looking at higher term time frames like a weekly to start off. You know, the first thing that obviously stands out is that you are kind of on your weekly long-term, dare I even say macro support right here, which is basically $1,700 base. So the question is, you know, if you're looking for a bear market rally, you kind of do expect it to come off of a, off of a region like this. And the question is, how would you confirm a bear market rally with, you know, potentially targets all the way back up to the mid 2000s, 2500, for example, to 2600. And that would be with a confirmed reversal, specifically back above this high right here on the 23rd of May, which is 2084 and a quarter or so. Daily, would we say the same thing? Daily reversal areas would be a little bit higher, as our daily range highs are back on over here at 2160 or so. So until then, you know, it's not really giving me too much to be working with. In the short term, that might change, but looking at the daily, for example, right here, we do have a downside signal, potentially awaiting confirmation here, which would be hidden bearish divergence. That will be confirmed with a closure, basically, I'd say below, especially below about 1800, would look a lot more obvious. At that point, I'd look for a quick retest of your current lows, which would be close to 1700. And then the question is, do you close below that region? If you do start to close below that region, well, then I guess it's continuation before bear market rally time, I guess. At which point, I suppose I'd be looking somewhere around 1400, maybe even as low as 1300. I'll put in a nice little pocket over there. You can also see that the 200 simple is starting to align with that region. It'd be a pretty brutal move to happen as well. And also the 55 on the monthly is coming in a little bit higher than that, 1472 basically, but same sort of an idea there. Anyways, long term, you know, do I think that the lows are in here? No, I don't think so. I do think that long term, over a long enough time horizon, very likely does come down lower. The question is how much, when does that happen? Quarterly, okay, don't even have enough to really populate that. So we can go through the lower term timeframes now. You know, short term, I'd call a short term reversal. I'd call a short term reversal on a 4 hour with a move back above, I think, this morning's high, 1873. At that point, I would look for another retest somewhere around here at 1935, 1936 region. But again, that doesn't really do much for the daily range, let alone the weekly. 5 day, anything obvious right here, perhaps? Not really. That we already haven't said. Buy daily, same thing as well. Not really getting too much from this. We can go look at stochastic momentum just to see. 4 hour is turning up above 1750. So short term, might get another try to the upside. That would be some good hopium there. Daily will turn up and remain up above 1775. So that would also kind of keep open the short term hopium. 5 day will freshly turn up above 2834. So not necessarily just yet. Weekly 2200 pivot as well. So I'm kind of making it difficult right there. There's not really like an easy call, at least for myself today. Looking at the 4 hour again, I like to see it actually, reclaim the highs from this morning. At that point, I'd be looking for, a move 1950, maybe as much as 2000. And at that point, a bear market rally is going to be a lot more relevant first than continuation to new lows. And I might even go out on a limb here and say I'd call a bear market rally confirmed with targets, much further to the upside and maybe even in the mid 2000s if you do see a daily closure above about 20. What is this high right here? 2010. Okay, cool.
Can you pin my message?
I will pin your message. Just post your message, sir. All right. Yep. There we go. That would be good. All right. Let's see. Okay, we got that.
Whatever I'm doing.
I have not. You want to look at the Jewel and BBWP. Okay, so you want to look at bi-weekly BBWP. It's expanding right here. So probably don't really need me to tell you that though, man. Bi-weekly Jewel, downside continuation. Again, long-term, the direction is down. So, if you're just going off of that, yeah, I'd be looking for probably another swipe to the downside. But these are very high term timeframes here, so that doesn't mean that you can't play it like a short term upside move in between, just so that we're kind of more clear. Nero's Art says to wrap up 2-day BBWP looking more, even more deadly than the daily. Well, BBWP is not like deadly on its own. It's just saying that a major move's coming. But yeah, 100%, I would agree. This is one of the longest times it's based off of this region. The last comparable time was July of 2020. So that was way back on over here before a really quick, I think that was like a 30 to 40% move. Let me actually double check. because I remember this one. Yeah, that was close to a 40% move right there. I thought it was a Krown. Wait, what the fuck, sir? What are you? I'm sorry, but what the fuck are you saying? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but I seriously don't understand what the fuck you're saying. There's no bi-weekly Krown cross here, man. Oh, you're basically okay. I see what you're saying. I don't think that the Krown cross works that well in higher term timeframes. At least from my own back testing on daily and above, it does not have good results in the way that I like to play it on short term timeframes, just for what it's worth. I have not tested it, however, on a bi-weekly, so I could not say that specifically, but I don't think it's that relevant on a time frame like this. It's just, it's still kind of a lack of history. Maybe we can see, where's FinX? There we go. I mean, would you have hidden bullish divergence? I mean, you technically would. I mean, technically, yeah, that would be a pretty good setup for at least a bounce, but I don't think it works on these timeframes. At least from the results that I've tested, it does not have good results on these timeframes. And you would have expected your bounce more around here, like in the 2200 region rather than at 1800, which is a good 25% lower. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is kind of like, I don't understand what you're saying, man. I don't understand what you're saying. All right, well, it's probably a good place to leave it off. Anyways, maybe it's just my camera that froze. Let's see. Is it wrecked? Are we here? I think we are here. Yeah, I think we're still here, actually. Trade. All right, yeah. Yeah, man, I don't really understand where you're going with this one. That's not a part of the strategy itself. So if I'm looking at Jewel, it would suggest downside. This is a lot more of an obvious signal than a signal that I've not, or a strategy that I've not tested on a time frame like this. So I don't know. I would certainly not feel comfortable saying that is a setup, because in my experience, anything daily or above does not work well with that strategy. It does not. I think the results were like around 50%, which is not good. Like, at least in my opinion, not good. All right, cool. Nice. I think that is going to do it for today. Yeah, cool. Alrighty. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. It's been a nice pleasure hanging out with you on this lovely morning. Maybe we go back to Bitcoin for a second here to see if there's anything new to really be speaking about. Not really. I mean, again, you're right in the middle of the fucking range. It's like, to me, this is a gamble right here. If I had to call it, trend takes over everything else. I mean, is there anything like on a 15-minute even? Not really. Alrighty, I think that's going to do it for me today. Actually, there is one thing here. If you can close above this last 15-minute high, which is 30,700, I would be looking for another retest of these highs. And at that point, it's going to look a lot more like a bear market rally first before probably coming back down later. But hey, yeah, if you do see something like that, that would be obvious. And that would very likely imply moves back up or continuation maybe the next day or two towards 32,500 to 33. And from there, we probably see things pull back a little bit plus continuation over time. All right, cool. That's going to do it for me. A little bit long-winded right there. Apologies for that. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll be signing off now. I want to wish you well. Take care and see you hopefully soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it.